Hello guys, Bebarol here. Today I'm finally making an update video to my Druid build, which I believe is best overall condition roaming build for Ranger. Okay, in this video we're gonna have a fast version of the build, give it to the people who just want it directly, and then we're gonna discuss a lot of details and answer all the questions I was getting on the build, like the older video and my roaming videos in general. So let's start with the build, and now I will move to the fast version of the build, so the people who want it without really watching would have it easy. So this is the fast version of the build. The gear is Shaman and Apothecary mix with only 2 pieces of Trailblazer, which is a short bow and the back piece, to get the bleeding duration almost 90%, and you can pause to watch them or see in the video. The rune is Krite, the sigils are Malice and Agony on shortbow, and Agony and Corruption on staff. All my infusions are healing from all there's a wallet, and this is the build. My bits are Raggazal, Electric Wyvern, and Shark, Armored Fish for water. Skirmish, Wellness Survival, Druid. 2, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 3. Our skills are Trolling Wind, Lightning Reflexes, Sharpened Stone, Glyph of Equality, Entangle. The water I use Trailblazer headgear, and only exotic weapons with Dire, but I don't like that. I'm thinking about changing them actually to something with higher healing or getting a Trailblazer. Dire is not good option anymore. I don't think Dire is good. Why? Because it gives you a lot of toughness, a lot of vitality, and we gonna get them anyway from either Apothecary or Shaman. So if you gonna have toughness and vitality and condition damage, you waste it. It's like using Soldier on power build with power, toughness, vitality. It's just a waste. So I don't like using Dire anymore on this build. Of course I'm using it on SoulBeast still, but not on the Druid. So what is really the update about this equipment? I changed the infusion to the people who use Ascended or Legendary to healing power. I lost about 90 point condition damage this way through using healing, but got extra healing. And the extra healing been really helpful. And not only that, this idea came because the other thing that the infusion give you is lowering the damage of guards, lord, and supervisors. So if I'm fighting in a camp or in front of a keep or tower, the guards can do less damage to me, and that can make me fighting more than one person in their own camp or stuff like this. The other infusion was working greatly, of course, but it was condition damage with extra damage to guards and stuff. I don't use power damage, so the extra damage is kinda useless, and it's not working in condition, according to my knowledge. It's working only on power damage. That's why I changed it to healing. So that was the key thing, and actually made me feel like the Druid or this build in the best position for it now. Like the points are really is what I want now. So as you're seeing, I'm not using any food right now, nothing at all. I only have the Borderland Bloodlust, and giving me 30 point to power, condition, toughness, and vitality, and the healing power too, precision. So it gives me in everything about 30 point. I have 1k and 91 healing power, and on staff it's 1k 342. The condition damage is lower on staff, of course, and it's a little bit higher on short bow. So now let's talk about the food. I always use with Druid a healing food, gain health every second, and this is my favorite one, tropical peppermint cake, because it gives you 10% karma from everything you do extra. You can use mango pie too, but it doesn't give you the karma. Everything else it does the same, and mango pie is more expensive, so why even use it? This is why I'm using this one. Why? Because we need the health regeneration over time. It gives you 85 every second to fill the Celestia avatar. Celestia avatar feel on either healing or on power damage only. Like you see this celestial being, only damage and healing. So we want Celestia avatar to be ready as fast as possible, so we can, even if we need it, use it off cooldown. That's why we always use this food. There is, if you're rich and not like me having only 40 gold and have ascended crafting, 500 cooking, there is other option from the ascended trait I will be putting. There is 5 option of ascended food, but you need 500 crafting for food to have it. They gain health every second, all of them, the same amount, 85, but they give you a lot of extra stuff like karma, magic find, gold find, world versus experience, which is great of course. And those other food options are great because they're giving you 2 stats with the effect of healing. The one we're having here, as you see, only 1 stat, so it's giving you 70 vitality. If you use the ascended, this 70 is 100 and you get other 70 for toughness. I would go with the higher expertise and condition to fill up a little bit about our bleed duration. As you see, I use a lot of healing, so I barely at 90. I'm not even close to 100. So it will give you better damage overall, but you feel free to use any one of them. The most important, it's only the ones that give you heal regeneration. The utility, I use combat quality tuning crystal. It's giving me 2% of my vitality and toughness to a condition damage, and the only place you can find it from is technically buying it from here. The permanent portable professional. You can also get it from those boxes if you choose canned food. You get to choose whatever you want. So if you're trying to save up money or whatever, you can do that and immediately just get 6 from every box. The outfitter merchant in All World vs. World is the one who's selling it for 1 gold, and it took a permanent, so it's gonna stay with your character. There is actually another option for combat tuning crystals, stronger option actually. So now let's talk about how you play this build, or how do you get the value of it. For a start, a lot of people would start with a stun. If you're, let me give you some like tricks I use. If you're on Warclaw and you're engaging with someone, you go down for Claw and you simply hit them. Ragazal will immediately go to use charge, and if he hit, he dazes them. And now you can immediately trigger Ancient Seed, was the primary source of our condition damage. We have 2 primary sources here, Ancient Seed and Sharpened Stone. This concept is where we get our damage for. Of course, we're having damage even on auto attack, but this is like our burst, okay? So don't start with a stun immediately. When do you start with a stun? After your Ragazal miss or hit or whatever, you can stun freely according to the fight. But if someone engages on you from Warclaw, like he's getting down, try to stun them immediately. So you either beta dodge, they have to dodge after coming down from the Warclaw, or they would have to stun break or even condition cleanse. I would not always use concussion shot. If someone jumping on me like while I'm standing like this, I can trigger hit toss. So I would use hit toss, not concussion shot. Sometimes if it's behind my back or I didn't notice, I would use Glyph of Equality first. So it would hit even behind me, all around me, to trigger the daze. Secondly, sharpened stone is a great damage source, but it can be dodged, it can be blocked, it can be blinded, so be careful when you use it, not simply spamming it and lose it completely pointlessly. But it's great because it can be used with auto attack of staff. So using staff can trigger sharpened stone from far, even getting people down from a workflow, or depending on the situation. Second thing, something I try to always tell people to keep in mind is always have something. Don't just waste all your skills. Like this, you stun, goes Ragazal stun, let's say, and you go with the other bit and use this and try to dodge away. Now you have nothing. No stun breaks, no CC, everything on cooldown. Don't do that. Always try to keep something and wait for a stun to go to hit the other. Like this give you 2 seconds of daze or stun if you're flanking. Then don't immediately go with hit toss. You have 2 seconds, the opponent is CC'd and probably immobilized at this point. So keep watching for that. Another trick is a lot of people complain in World vs. World or PvP from the bit movement actually. Because if you're up a cliff or something and you go down, the bit can spin around, walk the entire area until it reaches you. It's happened a lot in PvP, like in Skyhammer. That's why I don't leave my bit out. Let's say I am still coming out of the gate on Skyhammer and trying to go to mid. Keep your bit passive. So now wherever you go, even if you fall, once you enter combat, your bit gonna appear immediately right by your side. And after the first auto attack or attack you do, the bit gonna realize he's inside a combat. So this trick has a downside that your bit doesn't engage immediately. It starts engaging after a single attack. But you see, a single attack is not really a big deal. But I always use this, keeping my bit passive, so it would appear immediately. I don't do that trick in World vs. World unless I am not riding a workflow actually. Because up until this point, there's still this like a bug. When you are on workflow and engage, like with the engage skill, you enter combat, your bit's still passive. And you have to forcibly make it appear. And when it appears, it's on cooldown. The swap bit's actually on cooldown. So I don't use it if I'm riding a workflow. Because the bit gonna appear beside me anyway. Like I don't need to make it passive. Once I go down from the workflow, the bit will appear beside me. Another thing I wanted to say about the bit management, like another complaint about Ragazal. When he used charge, he ran for 900, going through every target in his path. And he doesn't stop when he hit target or two. And then go move slowly from, like, let's say it went to this guard. It will walk slowly back to you. To avoid this, I usually, once it hits the target I wanted to hit, like one person or like 2 person or a mob, whatever. Once it go past it, I see the interrupt or the daze on it, I immediately trigger hit toss. Ragazal would turn around and hit toss, cancelling the animation of charge. So at this point, this problem doesn't happen. The first skill Ragazal will always use is a charge. But if he's in melee range, like if Ragazal is here and the enemy is this close, he will actually use kick first and then use charge. So you need to keep that in mind. Another trick is, I put it a lot, like I would link my tips and tricks video here, but I'm gonna say it anyway, is triggering Ancient Seed have a cooldown of 10 seconds. As you see, in PvP it's 20. But you can actually trigger it on multiple targets. There's 2 ways we can do this here. The first way is we CC a lot of enemies and use a hit that hits them all. Like Lunar Impact, daze for 5 targets, and we use a natural conversion after, or we leave and use Glyph of Equality, so it hit everyone around us. And this trick will trigger Ancient Seed on everyone, since the first hit happened in the same time. The second way is like when Ragazal uses charge, or when Electric Wyvern use this skill, or even the wing buff, and the enemy in one line, and you auto attack them, or like this, with your staff. The staff would chain if you were targeting the last opponent. As you see, I triggered Ancient Seed on both mobs at the same time, only using staff. Another good thing to know is using your combo field. Like, this skill is a combo water field, so if you blast in it with skill 3, which is a blast finisher, or Lunar Impact, which is also a blast finisher, you can heal for extra. This skill is a light field. Usually I would use it and blast in it to get extra condition cleanse from simply the blast. So it removes 2 condition, and with this blast it removes 3 AoE, so I can do that even helping other people. I don't always use Glyph Equality, but like 90% of the time I use it. Sometimes I use Quickening Zephyr. Any other skill I do not use. Why? Quickening Zephyr offer a condition cleanse anytime you want, and quickness, and that's a really high burst. 4 seconds of quickness with Sharpened Stone, or even healing using it, or like using Lunar Impact. Natural Conversion trick, like when you use skill 3 and 5 insist the avatar to trigger Ancient Seed on everyone around you. With 4 seconds of quickness, actually you would finish skill 5 before the stability that the skill give you runs out. And also, like I said, it give a lot of burst immediately. 4 seconds when you can hit for double. Like instead of 4 hits a second, or almost 5, it's close to 10. So like you can unload Sharpened Stone in less than 2 seconds with this skill. And it also gives you super speed, and super speed is great for running away, and it gives you, like I said, condition cleanse whenever you want. Using the glyph actually still give you a condition cleanse, and for you and allies actually, but only inside Cesti Avatar. So it would stun break you and everyone around you in 300 radius and remove 2 conditions. But you can only have access to this inside Cesti Avatar, so you have to be calculative. So if you're following the same idea of having always keeping something, like you don't use your 2 stun breaks and have completely nothing left. Sometimes you'd find you use this aggressively and have to use this to get out of something. But guess what? I either have Celestia Avatar, or I'm already kiting, like using staff and running away, so it's not really a big deal. Or I'm either healing. So even if my health is a little bit down, I will bump it up. And even if I would be damaged, it will not go through my health completely. Another thing, in this build, your only immunity is dodges. Like there is no way to prevent completely power or condition damage. Yes, you can prevent projectile using this skill, but that's it. And if it's not even unblockable, it will go right through it. So this skill is kinda your panic button. Before the big batch, we used to have Signet of Stone, which will not completely prevent us from condition, but it's completely protect us from power damage. And Celestia Avatar used to be a stun break with condition removal. So with those 2 off cooldown, you can immediately use them. You had almost 2 seconds, you can say like 2 seconds of immunity, or 3 seconds in general. Now you don't. The only idea now is the dodge. But don't forget, even skill like this, even dodges like this, can still have a problem with you. Like the stun ring that Elise use. If you try to stun break out of it, like damaging him, or even if someone have like shocking aura, this skill do damage. So if you're stun breaking near them, it could fail and you could be stunned again. So my point is, there is no serious immunity in this build whatsoever. You can dodge, you can heal, you can kite, you can sustain, but that's it. So you need to be really focused about your sustain. Another point you need to keep in mind is the value of something like Entangle. Entangle can hit from blind actually, but it will lose the first tick of bleed. And it do damage hits for every second, doing another stack of Immobilize and Bleed. Those 5 stacks actually happen over time. So once you trigger the first time, you have a stack of Immobilize and Bleed. as you see, and start hitting more and more and more. And those hits can actually trigger Ancient Seed. It can trigger Sharpened Stone. So if you have a Sharpened Stone up on you and then hit with this one, you catch it 3-player or something, everyone gonna have a hit every second with a Sharpened Stone and a stack of Blade from Entangle itself. Another thing to keep in mind this build, where do we get our swiftness from? Like, we don't use Natural Stride, we have Stealth. So we need to move fast. We are a rumor build, so we kite a lot and we need to sustain and heal. Every time we weapon swap, we get 9 seconds of swiftness on 9 second cooldown. Like, the weapon swap, it's technically 10 seconds, but... And this skill, Quick Shot, gives you 9 seconds of swiftness on 9.5 second cooldown. So weapon swiping and Quick Shot will grant you swiftness almost permanently. Keeping switching between both of them. And you have super speed on leaving Celestial Avatar for 3 seconds. Another thing to keep in mind, don't use all of Celestial Avatar. If you're supporting people or you're running around with a zerg, you would need to heal them, and you would heal a lot of people, so Celestial Avatar would generally fill up fast. It's okay. If you're roaming or fighting 1v1 or you 1v2ing people, don't waste Celestial Avatar. Like, go inside, use Lunar Impact, probably trigger the first hit of Natural Conversion, and that's it. Or not even, if it's not worth it. If you're against a lot of condition, use this skill and then trigger Lunar Impact in it for condition removal and leave. If you completely empty your Celestial Avatar, it's gonna take a lot of time to refill. And it's a serious, valuable condition damage, condition removal skill, and the source of healing too. So I wouldn't do that actually. I would really think about it, and it doesn't give you value, and that's another point a lot of people, or a mistake a lot of people do. They think that there's some value at least in keeping healing with Celestial Avatar, but in Celestial Avatar you're vulnerable. Once you leave, you can stealth if you're not revealed, and that's it. But you still need to sunbreak. If you're immobilized, you stand still and people can still cleave you. If people put a lot of condition you don't have access to entering Celestial Avatar, which means you don't have your burst cleanse, your big cleanse. And the healing numbers are really down even with this much healing power that we have. It's not that big, so you would need the burst, like the value of cleansing, so now you don't have the damage of the conditions that was on you, so like you don't have to heal through them, so it's gone, the condition is gone. And Lunar Impact have the highest healing potential. Usually the ways I use Celestial Avatar is depending on the situation. If I'm using it aggressively, I'll trigger Lunar Impact and go with Natural Conversion to catch the people around. If the person is really far from me, I would use Lunar Impact and go out to get the super speed so I can catch them faster, and use the auto attack of staff mostly, or a short bow if he's close enough. And now I catch him with Ancient Seed. If I'm fighting a condition player, like heavy one, that my conditions are not enough, I use Celestial Avatar skill 2 and then skill 3 to trigger the blast to condition cleanse, and while I'm standing in the skill, after a second delay, it removes 2 other conditions. When I'm left Celestial Avatar, so I'm stealthed. If there is too much condition cleanse, or I got baited into entering Celestial Avatar and got bursted again inside, I would use the combo of skill 2, 3, and use the Glyph of Equality to remove 2 conditions inside Celestial Avatar. Or even trigger a heal if I have to, like my health is going down because another power player is hitting me or something. I would improvise at this point. But always use your healing skill outside of Celestial Avatar. If you healed inside it, then leave it. Your healing skill gonna refill a huge portion of it, and you don't wanna use it inside Celestial Avatar. This is a mistake and gonna delay your regeneration for Celestial Avatar incredibly. So always using it out of Celestial Avatar, not inside it. The last idea of how I use Celestial Avatar is using Lunar Impact for simply entering to cleanse condition, using it for healing or dazing whoever chasing me, and immediately leave. Not using anything else. Sometime if I'm already creating a distance and I don't wanna stealth immediately, or I can still do something like my health is 3 down. I would use skill 4 to get about a single tick or 2 at most and leave, because using 5 seconds will waste a lot of Celestial Avatar time for no serious reason. And this is how I usually use Celestial Avatar in general. If I'm running with zergs, the thing kinda different, because now I have to think of the people around me. Not to stretch yourself thin and end up losing, but skill 2, 3 are the best for you, but simply you can even heal people with auto attack on Celestial Avatar. Keep your distance being like medium and back range, like don't be at the front of the zerg. Skill 5 is your best friend for projectile mitigation. The Immobilize from the vine is great too. Auto attacking will heal everyone your path. And keep in mind to play like a flanker with zergs. Like there is always this second SoulBeast who's standing far and killing everyone. The Burn Dragon Hunter on a wall or something. You can kill those people pretty fast or force them to retreat. The thieves run around, mirages. Those people who stray a little bit from the zerg, you can catch them. And you're a roamer, you can survive incredibly and leave a middle, probably even side of a fight. So that's how I fight with zergs. So I hope this video was useful and informative and got all the questions you guys asking, and I'll see you later.